Alright, this is a review of the Eonon D5115Z head unit in a 2011 Mazda 3. Just some quick overview. I mean, you can see the overall appearance here is very nice. Looks very OEM. Looks like it belongs there. Looks like it's not a problem. You know, it doesn't look aftermarket like some of these other units you've seen. Very factory look to it. So the install, as you know, the install as they describe is a breeze, and it is. There's the instructions are a little lacking. There's some things lost in the translation for some of the descriptions of the key features. But see if we can't go ahead and get some of that stuff squared away. So we'll start up the car. Just kind of show you kind of how it powers on. So when it boots up, you see the screen boots up. The display, in my opinion, it's very clear. The chain link that you see though is I don't know, less aesthetically pleasing as I would hope. So you can see you still keep all of your steering wheel controls. You know, you can change all of that info. That's not a problem. It still displays the radio station on that little heads-up display as well. One thing I did want to make a quick mention of this. So right now the car's in first gear. I have a manual transmission. Car's in first gear. Turn the car off, and it's in reverse now. When I start it up, you'll notice that it goes to this camera. This is for the rear view camera. Not surprising, not an issue. It does kind of bug me that you can't disable this feature if you've got no camera plugged in. It shouldn't switch to it when you go into reverse. However, when you come out of gear, go back into first, it goes back to their home screen. If you noticed, when I started it up the first time, it defaulted to the radio, which is what I was last listening to. You know, that's just a little quirk. Every time that, you know, if you switch over into reverse before the head unit boots up, when you switch into gear, it shows you this home screen like you see here. But you can just press the radio button here. Goes back to the radio home screen. Not the end of the world. I am going to go ahead and, well, in a minute I'll turn off my car. You can see steering wheel controls. You can hear volume getting louder. Haven't tested the Bluetooth yet. Radio quality's decent. I don't know if it's a little diminished because of I have a stubby antenna on there that might have something to do with it. But also, if you'll notice, so I hold down the volume button and it doesn't change. It'll click once, so I'll hold it down again. It'll click it once and go to 1, and it'll break for a second, and then start increasing the volume. My opinion, that's a bit of a design flaw. It should, if you hold it down, it should, you know, immediately start changing again. So I turned off my car just to save gas. Shit ain't cheap. So just to show you again, now I turned it back on with it in first gear, not in reverse, and it booted straight up to the radio. So just something to be aware of. It does have iPod controls, and so this is kind of a cool feature. You can swipe your finger across it, and you can see the screen switches. You can see up here it says iPod. I don't know if it'll actually get my iPod to come up. You know, I think part of the problem is my iPod has it's an older iPod, has a crappy battery on it, and so it dies after every time I use it. So it doesn't like to immediately boot up. I don't know if everybody's experienced this or what. Sometimes I can get it to turn on, sometimes I can't, but As you know, with any Mazda 3 owner, you know that there is an aux input, as well as the power supply is in this armrest here in the console. And I never had that issue with it starting up. I could always, if you can play with the iPod, you can feel it, you can turn it on, no problem. When it's plugged in and I can't touch the actual iPod, it's questionable as to whether or not, see, and there it comes up. And I don't know exactly what you have to do. So, anyways, it comes up and it starts playing. It uses the data input, so it is very clear. One thing that you should also note, when it switches to iPod, it switches to this where it shows, I guess, the track and the time, and that's just not really useful. When you're in the radio mode, you'll notice not only does it list the radio station there, it also lists the radio station up there. So, just something to note. You've got the basic buttons. You got navigation here. Setup for that was could have been a little bit clearer. You had to go in and when you click setup, you had to touch. Let's see which one. I think there's a navigation setup, and you had to navigate to this drive.exe folder, which they don't mention. They don't tell you how to get there. And so you have to go through this file folder, and you have to filter through this menu, and it's not very intuitive. So one problem that I've had, and I don't know if it's going to do this while I'm playing with it, but so this is nice. It does tell you the date, time, everything like that, day of the week in case you can't remember. You can control the brightness settings on here. You can't really tell the difference from this video between night and day, but I promise it is noticeable. Anyway, so just going through. So, menu. Everything here is, you've got your typical spin knob for volume. However, tune. My tune knob happened to break. I can spin this. It's, as you might be able to notice, it is spring-loaded. Which I don't know why they didn't just put another simple spin knob like that, but they didn't. It's spinning, but when you press it, you can change things like bass, maybe. This is again part of my issue. So treble, bounce, but you can't change the number. Bass, you can't turn that knob to change it. You basically have to press it here and then quickly, touch the volume knob to adjust all that. So treble is up,